Hey, this is Ron, and this is my health dare, and this is the ATW show, A Walk to Remember. I figure we could do this together. Something else we can do together is what I've done here, and that's get completely and totally lost. I have no clue where I'm at. Actually, I have a general idea where I'm at, but I have no earthly idea what area this is, or maybe if this is inhabited lands. I decided when I started the health dare that I would not walk around in circles on a track, but instead that I would do all of my walking or jogging out in nature. If you think about it, there's so many places that you can go where there's nature trails and mountains and woods where you can spend some quality time, and it's not the same old, same old. If you're walking around in circles, there's a lot of monotony involved in that, and I decided that I'm not interested in that monotony. I'm more interested in experiencing this type of thing right here. And I'm going to be honest, frankly, it's off the chart. You could actually come out here 1,000 different times and you would experience something different every single time. What's bad though is when we got out here, I didn't see any no trespassing signs, but I'm almost certain that I'm on somebody's property and that I'm trespassing. Those buildings back there, and then there's some type of trailer over here. They didn't get there by chance, and they didn't build themselves. So I'm almost certain that I'm trespassing. And actually, you know, I think about the concept of trespassing, and I'm kind of forced to ask myself a question. What is trespassing all about? Well, in the United States, trespassing is really easy to become involved in. You can really find yourself trespassing at any point in time. For instance, just like today, I'm out here on this trail, this path, so to speak, and I have no clue if I'm trespassing or not. I've not seen a sign, but at any moment in time, I could come across a sign, and bam, I would find out that I'm not just trespassing, but I'm on some kind of government property and my whole life is over. Of course, that's probably not going to happen quite that way. I'm pretty sure that the selfie stick and the camera will explain my purpose, and then when they see the video, I'm pretty sure it'll be alright. But I don't really want to talk on this walk to remember about me trespassing on someone's private property. Instead, I would like to think about the whole idea of a trespass. I'm not talking about actually trespassing. I'm talking about offending or harming or bringing pain to somebody else. The reason that this is on my mind is because just this past week, Kathy Griffin posted this image of her holding the what appeared to be the severed head of President Trump with blood running down his face. And apparently President Trump's son, his 11-year-old son might I add, came across this on television or something, and it affected him in some type of way. And what happened there is that was a trespass. What Kathy Griffin did was an offense. It was a trespass. And that's really what I want to talk about, is the trespass. I want to talk about offending and the way that our actions or words affect those that are around us or nearest us. Actually, interestingly enough, when I think about the trespass, the first thing that comes to my mind is I can't help but to think about an old pagan philosophy called the Wiccan Rede. The Wiccan Rede goes a little something like this. It says, "And that harm none, do as thy will." Basically what that means is as long as you're not harming anybody, you can do pretty well anything you want to do. You can live free and in harmony as long as your actions are not adversely affecting the people in your community or the people that are nearest you. And while I'm not a pagan, obviously I'm a Christian, while I'm not Wiccan for sure, I do find a lot of value in that principle. You got to realize, as long as the things that you're doing on this earth are not harmful to other people, then the things that you're doing on this earth, or yourself for that matter, and the things that you're doing on this earth, they must be beneficial. I actually think that maybe the Wiccans came up with this principle. I thought there was a snake. Came up with this principle from some of Jesus' teaching. As a matter of fact, we know that Jesus knocked this whole concept out of the park. He said to love your neighbor as yourself, to do unto others as you would have them do to you. Now, I think about that principle as well. Basically, what he was saying is, whatever you want happening to you and for you is what you should be doing to others or for them. That brings to mind some really interesting ideology. If you're willing to stretch with me here, I think about a community, not like a community as in the city of Aiken. I think about a community as in the street that you live on. Maybe there are people who are in that community that are sick. Maybe they're downtrodden. Maybe they're beaten pretty badly by the circumstances of life or whatever it may be. I don't know. I can't help but to ask, what are we doing for them? And then I want to flip the script and I want to ask, if we were in a situation, maybe we couldn't walk because of an injury, maybe we couldn't drive because God forbid we've had some type of bad situation in our lives where we made some poor decisions and our license were taken, or whatever the case may be. How would we want people in our community to respond to us? And basically what I'm asking is, would you hope that people in your community brought you by a casserole? Would you hope that people in your community offered to give you a ride just down the street a piece? Would you hope that people in your community were willing to go over and beyond just being a neighbor? Maybe they bring a cake or a pie or something of that nature, and it's a benefit to you. Would you hope that people were willing to do that? Would you hope that people were willing to help you out in such a way? Well, I'll tell you, it's always my hope that people are willing to help me out if I have a need. And it's not just my hope that people are willing to help me out if I have a need. It's also my desire to help those who also have a need. I say that to say this. If you think about the community that you live, it's really an ecosystem. There are tons of different people in that community. There's tons of different people type. There's tons of different races, social and economic levels. And what's so interesting about these eco chambers or these communities is that inside there's an opportunity for each of us to grow to a level because of the level that others find themselves in. I think that's why Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do to you. Or love your neighbor as you love yourself. I think the concept is pretty simple. I think the whole idea is pretty basic. It's as long as you're not trespassing against someone, then you do what you want to do. The Wiccan Read, once again, it says, as long as you're not harming anybody, do whatever you want to do. Jesus says, do to others what you would wish that they would do to you. Then Paul says something interesting. He says, everything, now listen, he says everything is permissible. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Now let's step back to Kathy Griffin for just a moment. The picture that she posted, I believe, was with the intent of shocking the world. That's her platform in this world, as she is a shock and awe comedian. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. I'm not here to judge Kathy Griffin. What I'm here to do, however, is bring a point. There are so many ways that Kathy Griffin can get her message across without profoundly affecting or impacting in a negative way an 11-year-old child. what are some of those ways? Well, you know, if you're politicized and you don't agree with President Trump and you don't agree with the Republican Party, well, you can talk about that. You can make jokes about his hair. You can do this, you can do that, you can do the third. But why take it to a level where the offense exists in such a way that it has adverse effects on small children? Think about that. Speaking of the trespass, once again, I'm almost 100% sure that I am trespassing on somebody's property. It's probably something to do with a boarding ranch for horses, something dealing with equestrian things. I have nothing to do with horses really, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I'm certain that I'm trespassing. And I want to ask you a question. Are you trespassing? The idea here is not, are you on land that doesn't belong to you? The idea here is, are you doing things intentionally, or maybe even not intentionally, maybe incidentally or accidentally? Are you involving yourself in things that's harming the people that are closest to you, those in your community, those in not just your community, but those in the world around you? Are you doing things that would bring harm, anxiety, hurt, any level of pain? Are you trespassing? Are you infringing against their rights to peace? And if so, I'd like to just challenge you to consider this with me, if you will. Everything, as Paul said, is permissible. You can trespass those people. You can do whatever you want to do, really. But think of the benefits of living a harmonious life. Think of the benefits of living at peace. Think of the benefits of developing relationships with a community that you can benefit, and in turn will benefit you. And speaking of benefiting, I'm pretty sure that I need to get out of here because it would be my benefit not to get caught where I'm at right now. This is Ron Kennedy, Walk to Remember. Go to atwnow.us and check us out. Thanks. I'm going to hit the border.